What lessons can be learned from the House of Dragon's portrayal of corruption? The world of Westeros has long been a place of intrigue and deception, but none as deliberate and purposeful as the dragons of House Targaryen. In the latest iteration of the Game of Thrones saga, House of the Dragon, we see a rich and complex exploration of the consequences of corruption and the dangers of unchecked power. At the heart of this corruption lies the central theme of the Fire and Blood dynasty, the Targaryens' reliance on their dragon fire. These magnificent creatures embody the very symbol of power, strength, and dominance, and as a result, the Targaryens become accustomed to wielding their might without consequence. Over time, this perceived invincibility breeds arrogance, and their descent into tyranny is inevitable. One of the most striking portrayals of corruption in House of the Dragon is the exemplification of Septon Baratheon's maxim, "A Lannister always pays his debts." Here, the show highlights the cyclical nature of corruption, where one form of exploitation is merely replaced by another, and the debt is passed down through generations, forever fueled by a cycle of violence and bloodlust. Throughout the series, we witness the creeping effects of corruption upon even the most well-intentioned characters, as they become increasingly entrenched in a web of lies and deceit. This is exemplified in the transformation of Rhaenyra's father, King Viserys, who, in the pursuit of power, becomes increasingly shrouded in fear, desperation, and duplicity. One of the most poignant lessons gained from House of the Dragon is that corruption is a progressive thing. It does not manifest suddenly, but rather as a gradual devolution from virtue. As the Targaryens' obsession with dragonfire mounts, so too does their disdain for the common folk, until they become rulers of an increasingly oppressive regime. In House of the Dragon, we see a strikingly realistic portrayal of how the rise of corruption within a power structure is inevitable, not as a bold coup, but as a quiet, mundane shift. We see this in the cunning ways in which smaller factions and families, both within and outside the Targaryen circle, cleverly exploit their enemies' weaknesses, often posing as loyal subjects, all while subtly fanning the flames of resentment and discontent. This nuanced depiction of corruption offers a powerful warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the tendency to overlook the most pressing moral implications of our choices. In a world where absolute power seeks to bend the very fabric of reality, House of the Dragon reminds us that the rise and fall of empires is never a matter of personal gain, but of who is willing to sacrifice what for dominance. Ultimately, House of the Dragon's portrayal of corruption serves as a haunting reminder that whenever we compromise our values for the sake of power or security, we risk unleashing a maelstrom of violence and madness that will chew us up and spit us out. In an era marked by the entrenchment of ideologies that reek of a fire and blood mentality, the lessons learned from House of the Dragon couldn't be more prescient or pressing.